Well, hello, YouTubers. Just caught me preparing another walking stick. Let's get the camera adjusted here. Yeah, you caught me sanding another walking stick. This is going to be about 48 inches. It'll be a little smaller than usual. But I'm making a few for youngsters that's going to be around at our Ozark Arts and Crafts Show in Ozark, Missouri this year. And it's going to be the first weekend in October. Be sure to get out and look around. There's going to be lots of stuff there to look at, including my stuff. So please join me for the rest of this video. What I'm going to do is just clean it up real good, and I'll put the finish on them first before I put the embellishments on the top. So that's the way I do my sticks. And so stay tuned and see what happens. Well, that finished up sanding. I got all the fuzz off of it with that 120 grit sandpaper with the orbital sander. Now I'll go over it real quickly with about a 240. We'll decide then if we're going to do any carving on the doll. So let's get to that and get her done. So this is 240 I have on here. So we just go down it like this and get to the end and it's ready to go. You know, that just don't take much. That's all it takes right there, and that's slick as needed. A layer of paper towels to lay any of the work on that I'm going to put any kind of finish on. This is golden oak stain. Now I got to take my little cloth here, and I will just wipe it on good. With the rubber gloves, that makes it fairly easy draw. The stain sometimes raises the grain, and if it does, that's fine. I go over it real quickly with a 400 grit hand sand, and that takes care of it. So that's what I might have to do, but other than that, it'll be ready for the final finish. I use Waterlux on these, and just a one coat application after they're stained. And we got this stained a few hours ago now, and it's ready to be coated and hung up in my dry room. Now this stuff, this Waterlux, needs to dry at least 20 hours, I've found. The company recommends 24 hours between coats. But I know the finish that I want on these don't require a second coat. So I leave it about 12 hours it'll dry. Now, if it required another coat, I mean, it seems perfectly dry to me. But the factory recommends 24 hours, and that's probably what you should do. But if I were to give it another coat. But I take it down after about 12 hours, 12 to 24 hours, depending on my time schedule. I have that eye hook ready to hang upside down in the dry room, and then in the morning I can get it out and look at it, and it will be ready for embellishment. I just went back in the back and got my stick out that we put the finish on yesterday, one coat of Waterlux. The way I do these sticks, I let the finish go ahead and raise the grain or the stain or whatever put on there. This has a real nice finish on it now. I don't want another coat. I want it just the way it is. It's between a gloss and a semi-gloss. But all you do now is take a 400 sandpaper just over the top of it lightly, and it becomes smooth to the touch and feel, and it just like that, it's ready. And that's all it takes. This is an ironwood stick, very, very strong. I tell you, it makes a beautiful stick with this waterlux finish on it. It's just unbelievable. And then you take a cloth, you wet it if you want to, whatever you want to do. It's protected now, and I wipe the sawdust off of it, and it's ready to walk, I tell you. Anyway, this will make someone a proud, wonderful stick. I'll have to look in my notes to see what embellishments I'm putting on the end, but wow, this grain, I don't know if you can see it from here or not, but you can tell by the way the grain, the ribs move that direction. It's not really grain, it's a raised rib-like effect that ironwood has. As it's the ribs, it's like muscles going down the grain this way. So let's get busy, get it embellished, and see what it looks like in all its glory. Well, here we are back this morning with this ready to put the paracord nest and the paracord handle and such on this. I'm calling it the alien skull walking stick. You can see there, but anyway, looks like an alien skull to me. But we make these things out of my plastic injection molds, so I'll tell you, it's been a long time since I found a real alien skull. If I find one, though, I'm going to put it on a stick. Hey, let's get busy and put the paracord on this one. Okay, going to get that set up in my V-block, and so it don't run away with me. Now, this one's fairly straight, so it may lay in there. I don't know. Cooperate with me. Yeah, it looks like it's going to. You get that up, you find the right location on your V-block, you can turn this over and it'll kind of stay where you put it. You can see there's a little green in the top of this skull. Now what I'm going to do is, this got green and gray in it, and going to use that today. And I got 24 foot of the paracord, which is going to provide the paracord nest for this topper to lay in. Easiest way to do that, find the middle, go around here and tie your first knot like you're tying your shoe. Pull that through there, simple as that. Loop that right down on your stick and pull it in as snug as you can get it. And if you want to, it doesn't hurt to start with to put a little CA glue. It helps a lot to hold that knot in place. Now I'll put that there. 15 seconds later you can turn it loose and I'll guarantee you it's not going anywhere. Now you pull another loop section of it through like you're tying another initial knot. Now what you want to do is let that slide down on your glass or your resin and tighten it up on that instead of down on the stick. Now I'm going to go through there one more time and I'll pull it through like that. This time bring it, and you see I did the same thing on the bottom. I'm letting that tie to come down and snug down kind of on the glass if you can hold it up there. Now the first time around you might not be able to do that, but I find now the knot is wanting to slip on me. If it does that, just put a little more CA glue. Now let it slide down on the upper part. You're wanting to get it wrapped up around that resin ball. Don't let your stick fall off the bench. There you go. Now this one, so it's beginning to come up on the resin now. But this side, you got the resin showing. So this time when you tie it, you're wanting to hide this seam all together from, so this we'll bring around. It'll start filling that in and it'll start staying tight for you here very soon. You make about 3 wraps around there and it's decided it's gonna stay where you put it. Now this time you can see there's no, you've created a nest. Now if I want to, I can go down on the wood now and the next time around and I can quit right there if I wanted. But I usually like to wrap them up, make a nice looking little nest there. Now before I tie this tight, I'm gonna really make sure it's down there and I'll see it's going down on the wood this way. And you can look every once in a while to see whether you want it back up this way. It's pretty even. So I would bring this one back down on the wood. And I am going to put me just a little drop of CA right there, 15 seconds, and that's it. Now what I intend to do, my seam where it joins, sits on top of the stick, it's completely covered. And that makes a nice little nest right where you have it there. So I'll just leave it there. Or you can run a little higher here if you want. If I put another one around here, that would just hide more of that skull. So what I'm doing, I brought it down the pole a little bit. I'll cut it plenty long here so I can get it tucked under something. I'll get my screwdrivers. I use a 2 small, narrow bladed screwdrivers, and I will want to tuck that loose end and this loose end. This one, I think I'll bring it around here and tuck it under this one. And we'll gouge underneath there and turn that screwdriver sideways. And we'll do that right now. So I've got that locked under there. That sideways gives me a little opening to take this screwdriver and I will stick that in that, under that, right there. You can see this one example. I brought this wire, this was sticking up, and I tucked it under that rope right there. I'm gonna put a little dab of CA glue right there to keep that put where it is. And that way you won't be able to see where this was secured tight at all. Now I'll put a little dab, that's got that. Now we go to the other side, see what I can do here. A matter of tucking that fuzz away and then putting just a tiny drop of this on there. That'll let it know that you're the boss. I'm gonna put a handle right above that curve right there. So a couple inches above that little knot that we're gonna have the paracord start. Go to one end of your string here now and pull off a guesstimate about 24 inches and double it right back. That leaves you 12 inches or so. Make sure you got at least a foot there. Now what we want to do is tie a knot and get that knot worked down to where it's really close to this end right here. So you got a little tail sticking out, maybe a couple inches. Now you look, you want to have, at least between 10 and 12 inches from the loop from that. I want it like that right there. Now we want to set that right where you want it. And I said that's about an inch above that little knot is where I eyeballed it. Now what I want to do, I'll make me a loop in my hand here and I'll just go around this end, just like this. Loop, turn to the left, turn it around the end, the little loop. And that makes you a knot right there. So I want this knot to be even with the back, wherever approximately back of your stick. So that's where it's going to be, right in there. Get this little pigtail under that and go right there. Now go underhand, like you're holding it, looking at it in your hand. Do a left hand twist, put it over the end of your stick, right through the loop, and right back again. Make sure that tightens up right at your knot. If you pull to the right, you can feel it snugging up, okay? Now you want to pull back this way, and you're going right on down. Now you see it starts to get these little loop kinks in it. You get that out, and you don't have to do it every time, but come back and just run your hand through that. You'll feel those little loops coming up on a twist right there. That'll twist right out, and you'll twist it right on out the end. Now you want to hold your rope again like you're looking at it. Turn to the left. Go right over the end of your stick. Take your loop through it, and just pull it up. Make sure your little pigtail there is under the stick. And you keep on going, and you get you another bite. Around there, put it all under there. Pull it down, and you'll want to turn your stick as you go. You'll find that knot keeps going around, but it's going to embed that little pigtail is just going to stay right there with you. So that's already come down, and just that little spiral just follow you all the way around. That's all that's left of that little pigtail that you had hanging out off of this knot here. This leaves this nice and sticking out flexible. Now I'm going to go ahead and lace this down to about right here, and then we'll get back with you and see how you stop it. Now I want to show you what happens here. It's too short to loop around and go under your hand and under the end, right? So what we do is just carry it right on around. It's like it's wanting to go, and you put it under the stick and over just like that one. You stick it under there again. So now we want to pull it and get it back to where it tightens up. And you can take a pair of spurs like this, and I will grip that right down near there and hold it. And you see that gives you a tremendous lever tightening power right there. And we got that pretty snug then, and we can move it just a little bit to keep from getting wood showing in any spot before we do anything drastic here. And see, I pulled that down a little. Now you can see we got the paracord wrap all the way around. We got our handhold in place, and we've got you can see a slight spiral in this all the way around. It's going to go all the way down to the end here and come out right here at this knot. Now you got a double twist right here. But what we're going to do with that, we're going to go back here a little ways and put some CA glue. After we get it tight there, I'll put a little CA right here and a little right there. It'll wick up some. So now what I do is just tuck this end back under that bottom string some. So anywhere you can get it to tuck in, I like to get it tucked back under right there where it come from. So we'll get our nippers here, and I will cut, and it should come to kind of a point there, like, I don't know if you see that point or not. There we go. Now you can just fold this down with your screwdrivers. So you'll tuck this back under there somewhere and give it a little shot of CA. That's all there is to it. And I stick one screwdriver under there, turn it sideways. That gives me a little bit of a hole for that to go into. Now, as you can see, There's no visible place. You can see where that kind of ends there, but it's tucked under there. No ends showing. It just looks like it's continually wrapped, and it ends down in there somewhere. But you can hold it at an angle and put a little CA glue around spots, and that'll keep that from all tight in there. And this rope is ready to go. What we do now is cut this 2 or 3 inches back here, enough for a slip knot, and that'll be plenty if you had a knot right there to get a big wrist through right there. So we're going to cut it right about there somewhere. Now, you loop this around a couple of times and run this back through there, all the way through. Makes you a nice slip knot there that won't come loose. Now, what you want to do is get a torch and just cook the end of it, let you little balls so it don't come up and pull all the way through like I almost did, see? And then you'll do the same thing on the other end. You can cut it a little bit shorter, but when you're coming that up even like that, it's easy to just pull it right out of the knot. Once you pull it out of the knot, you don't get it back in. Here it is. Look at that. Now, that is an alien skull. I'm not sure what planet it's off of. It looks like it, well, one time had 3 eyes, got some green on top of it, like it might have been horns or something, I don't know. But he even got a little blood on his teeth. Been eating something before he died. Is that on a little nice little paracord nest? That this got a little green and black, gray in it, and matches up pretty good, I think. And they got a wrist strap. This thing is overall about 48 inches tall. It's got a nice taper to it and fairly straight, as you can see here. And that's about it for right now. I'll tell you, if you like this video, I'd appreciate you subscribing if you haven't already. And a thumbs up wouldn't hurt anything. All comments are answered. I'll tell you, there's about one other thing I got to say, and that is, I'll see you in the next video.